How amazing was that performance? I'm pretty sure all of us feel blessed being in this room here and now, and I'm sure that song has inspired me, so I know that definitely inspired you. Next, we're about to switch gears over to an amazing voiceover actor and now an actor in television and film. He's got amazing products coming up and also has many projects that he's been involved in, so I cannot wait to have him on so he can tell you about it. Everyone, BZ Cullins. Hey, thank you so much for coming.
Oh,
it's a pleasure. Please have a seat. So, thank you. So you literally flew in today.
Literally in the last hour and a half, I just got here.
You literally just got here, and it's an honor to have you on the show. So thank you so much. So where'd you fly in from?
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. Awesome. So I know that you have some amazing projects coming up that you also, but before we get to that, you've done some amazing things before then. So you've been in this industry for around 20, 30 years, is that correct?
I've been in entertainment for 30. Voiceover has been 20, and I recently just broke into on-camera acting in the last 3.
Yeah, and so that's pretty amazing, right? So now you're switching gears, because I'm pretty sure, like, in the studio, like, you're used to doing anything voice, no one's really like, you can just be yourself, doesn't matter what you look like, and then now you're like, it's both. You're like, wait! So tell us how you got into voiceover acting to begin with.
Well, craziest thing is I was visiting a cousin of mine who is an actress, and she asked me if I'd ever thought about getting into voiceover. And I told her no. The only thing I wanted to do, if anything, would be either to play a Klingon or a Sith Lord, Star Wars, Star Trek. And so she's an actress. Her and I went to this bookstore in LA called Samuel French, and we saw this podium. There's this stand of books that says You Can Bank on Your Voice by a gentleman named Rodney Salisbury. And for anybody who's watching, if you've ever seen a Twix commercial and you hear, need a moment, chew it over with Twix, that's him. So it's like, okay, well, you know what? The biggest thing that caught our eye is his last name, Salisbury. My mother is Salisbury. The cousin that I was with, I'm related to by Salisbury. So the antenna went up. I'm like, okay, who is this dude? And I need to find out if we're related and how. He went on to become one of my biggest mentors in voiceover. We haven't quite established a family link, but I consider him family.
Yeah, it's meant to be, honestly.
Yeah.
And so, you know.
So from there, I started searching for voiceover classes, coaches, because voiceover is a different beast from on camera. So there's different types of training. I started acting before I started voiceover, as far as training goes. So I wanted to get the acting part out of the way. And so that's where we are. And so I found my coach and found out that Rodney was also teaching. So I just started absorbing, sponging, all of that.
Right. And so what's your favorite thing probably that, you know, about voiceover that's kept you in that business for so long? Because I've seen, like, you know, your resume, you've done voiceover for many, many, many different things, along with also, you know, charitable things as well, and ministry. So you across the board, you do voiceovers, not just for one thing. And some people are just like, no, I do it for novels, right? You do audiobooks, some people stick with that. They stick over animation, or they stick with, you know, certain things. But you have done literally everything.
Almost, yeah. And actually, yeah, I have, now that I'm thinking about it. Because my work really hadn't extended into animation until recently. So, as well as audiobooks recently. And so I pretty much have done it all across the board. The biggest thing, my primary reasons for getting into voiceover, and you mentioned ministry. One of the things that I never wanted to do was do on-camera work because I didn't want fanfare. I didn't want admiration. I didn't want any worship, anything like that, because it doesn't belong here. It belongs elsewhere. So that was one of the reasons. Another reason is you get to work from home. You know, I can be in my pajamas and go do, you know, a commercial for Citgo or Kroger, and no one will know anything. I knock out the job and it's a wrap. And 3, which is one of the more important, is I've always wanted to be in entertainment. With voiceover, you get to be in entertainment, make entertainment money, but still have a semblance of normalcy in your life.
Correct.
Well, that's no longer the case for me.
You're right.
I wanted that, but that's not the case anymore.
Yeah. Because now you have the pleasure of working on camera,
Correct.
which is a different ballpark, and you get that. But with that, you can't help but then enter the world of things you're trying to avoid. And a lot of people don't realize how taxing it is, on people's life. And then now that you're probably doing both, but it's a whole different, like, you have to be here and then, doing all these things.
Yeah, you said the word taxing. I'm literally been shifting time zones over the course of the last 3 weeks, from LA to Salt Lake City to Minneapolis, back here to Vegas, back to Minneapolis, back here to Vegas today, and I have to go to Salt Lake City on Friday. Then I have to go to LA in the next week. So it's
a lot, yeah. And even travel alone, like, is exhausting. Even people are like, you're sitting on a plane, like that. It just drains you. And then knowing that it's not like you're gonna go somewhere. Whereas you go somewhere, your work right here. You got to be ready. You have to be prepared. No excuses, really. Cool. But it's amazing that it sounds like you're pretty booked, which is every actor, everyone in the entertainment industry is their blessing, is to always have that back to back because you work based on how you're scheduled.
Well, the thing is my end game was if I'm going to do this on camera thing, I just want to be a working actor. I don't want to be a superstar, even though my manager tells me that I'm going to be. I don't want to be a star. I just want to be a working actor, pay the bills, and entertain people.
Very humble.
And again, we mentioned ministry. If I'm doing on-camera work, I'm going to be able to reach a larger audience with ministry.
Right. So there's always your motivation behind what you do, and it's obviously not fame, which is not as common as you're seeing as it is, which is amazing. You stay humble, you stay grounded, you're doing it because you love what you do.
Correct.
Basically. So tell us a little bit about the past work that you've done that probably people would have recognized your voice from. You can hit that first, because I know.
Well, for voiceover, until recently, the majority of my work has been in commercials and narration. I've just started getting into, and it's been a long time goal of mine, for TV promos and movie trailers. That is the toughest nut to crack in voiceover, and that is the upper echelon of voiceover. For those of us who get the bulk of the work in voiceover work, you're looking at 7 figures. So I'm not there yet. I just recently did a show. It's for Marvel, and it's primarily for Nick Jr., called Spidey and His Amazing Friends, and I voice an AI for Tony Stark, and it's literally an artificial intelligence chair. And so I'm waiting to hear back from the studio because I have a couple more episodes, if I'm not mistaken. So
that's amazing. That's you're talking about you're not at the upper echelon. I feel like people hear that and they're like, wait, so that's not it? Like, dang, that's crazy. That's how big you are. So with that being said, like, me being an actor on camera, I haven't really done as much voiceover work. What would you say would be the major difference between training wise and like actually doing the job versus obviously we know when you're on camera, when you're not on camera, but like as far as the work involved and what you need to be a great voiceover actor, what would you say that would be?
Well, the first things first is training, because a lot of people think that you have to have either thunder throat or you have to have an arsenal of voices to be a successful voiceover talent, but that's not the case. The case is you need to be able to take whatever is in front of you, that script, and make 10 million people think that you're talking to each one of them individually, and then you sit at home and wait for your checks. But just because you can, you got this big bassy voice, or if you have a bunch of voices, that doesn't automatically, make you a candidate for being a great voiceover talent. You have to learn to hone and use your instrument properly in order to convey any message. And the biggest thing about it is a lot of people think, well, you're just reading. When it comes to voiceover, you have to be able to sell. And literally everything in voiceover is selling. With commercial, you're selling goods, events, services, and media. With animation, you're selling the character you're voicing. With narration, you're selling the documentary that you're narrating. With movie trailers, you're selling the next movie. With TV promos, you're selling the next show. With radio imaging, you're selling the radio station or whatever it is they need you to voice. You're always selling. So even though voiceover is a part of acting, you can't get away from it. it is storytelling in a sense, especially if it's audiobooks. It still is storytelling in a sense, but you're still advertising.
Right.
You're still selling.
Right.
So, but first things first is training. Hone your instrument. Take care of your instrument. And another valuable part of your instrument are your ears, and you have to take care of those. So I don't go around loud crowds. I don't yell. I don't drink dairy. I take care of my tools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can tell. The way you speak is very calm. You're not over exasperating yourself. You're sitting here. You're cool. You know, you're just like, I'm going to let my voice speak for me. There you go. You know. So now with film, you know, I mean, the biggest thing, and so because, you know, holidays are coming up, Hallmark Channel is a huge thing this Christmas, and you happen to be in one.
Yes,
right?
I just auditioned
Limelight, right?
just auditioned for another one, which is a Christmas film, and I just put in for another one. So hopefully Hallmark likes me enough to keep picking me up. But yeah, Love in the Limelight, that one came out this summer, and that was a blast. And we shot that in Salt Lake City. I've been doing a lot of work in Utah lately.
Yeah, I hear Utah has a lot going on over there.
It does.
So, you know, I haven't hit that market yet, but it's, you know, that and Arizona. Arizona's got a lot going on.
Arizona's picking up. New Mexico's doing well. So yeah, I mean, a lot of these smaller markets are starting to pick up. So, you know, hopefully, prayerfully, you know, we'll be able to dip into those as well.
I mean, you already have a foot into Hallmark. Everyone, I feel like that's a lot of people's dream. Like, what? You're in a Hallmark movie? It's amazing. Hallmark's on nonstop. That's what we watch all the time. But amazing. Congratulations. And I know you also have something coming up. Is it CSI? If I'm
it aired already.
It aired already.
Yeah, the most recent things I just did was one was CSI Vegas and General Hospital.
Oh, okay.
So those are the ones that most recently aired, and I'm actually going to LA to work on another TV show. I can't quite talk about that just yet. And I just worked on a film last weekend out in Utah. Can't discuss that one yet. However, two of the main characters or two of the main actors in that are in the new series Wednesday, based on Wednesday Addams.
I saw that as an ad coming on Netflix.
Yeah, yes. So I think, one of those. Netflix will be one of those, the two main stars of that. They were the main stars of this film. Now, even though we shot it in Utah, it's not a Hallmark film. It's a full-on feature film with Paramount. I didn't know that till I got there. So I'm like...
That's always how it happens. Or they give you as little details as possible. Right. And then you realize when you get on set, wait, isn't that so-and-so? What am I doing? Where am I? Like, I feel like that's what happens a lot with these movies, you know. So what would you say your biggest struggle apart from now, you know, the Limelight, not, you know, another because that was the name of the movie. But the Limelight, for being on camera, how would you say transitioning has been for you?
It's been okay, because when it came down to it for the transition, I started booking on camera work and I didn't understand why. And the reason I is because whenever I get an on camera script, I break it down. Literally, I'll take a pencil and chop it up like it's a voiceover script. And then I just act that out. And that's what's been winning. And then I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and take up a couple of acting coaches and get their take on this. And they'll show me, you know, different ways of maneuvering, but what it was that I was doing was working. But they gave me, you know, other nuggets to incorporate with what it is that I was doing. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll just go ahead and ride the wave and see where it goes. And this is where we are now. I never thought I would actually say it, but I can literally classify myself as a working Hollywood actor.
Yeah, as you should. I mean, you claim that with all that you're doing. So, I mean, and these are like roles, like principal roles. Like people can literally probably find him at IMDb, and, you know, website, all these things, and it'll all be there. So I applaud you for that. That's amazing. A lot of people making the steps into that, and I love how you were talking about breaking things down. You know, even though you're doing it the voiceover way, that's what people don't understand about acting in general, is you do have to break those down. Because, like, the comparison, you're still telling a story. You know, you're still telling a story of a character that you're playing, making it your own, and so the audience will believe that you are that. They're not looking at you as a person, you in your everyday life. They're looking at you as that person in that moment. And so I feel like with that knowledge that you've taken from voiceover acting, it's really pushed you and escalated you
It
above
has.
others.
And the biggest difference between the two is with voiceover you have to read and act. With on camera you have to remember and act, but you never get away from acting.
Yes.
So my biggest hiccup or my biggest fear initially was remembering lines.
Okay.
And even though it's always been my biggest fear, I very rarely flub.
Like a true professional would, period. Obviously, I mean, even if you did, you would sit here and be like, oh God, it's so hard. No, this is a Hollywood actor.
I've tripped up a few times, but it's been on a rare occasion.
Yeah. The beauty of film is it happens all the time. You're going to do how many takes anyways? You know, if it's theater, you got to learn improv.
That right there is way different. I love doing the craziest things. I love doing theater. I just can't go and watch it because I fall asleep. Performing in it, no problem.
Yeah.
But actually want to watch it.
Yeah. And that's where, I mean, I feel like that goes hand in hand with you can't grab an audience. You're telling the story. You gotta sell it right then. Live, though. There's no editing. No. Your voice got to project, which is opposite, really, of
absolutely
what you do.
And and even with that, I studied opera for a few years, and I was instructed on how to do just that, project. So it helped.
Yeah. So because I remember your backstory. If we're gonna go back, like you do have that performance, opera training, but then also, and it started around when you're 5 or 8, right? And you had some.
Yeah.
It's always started with your voice.
My voice changed when I was 8. 3rd grade, I hit puberty, and man, my family has been on me since. None of them have ever let up. So.
But here, you used it to advantage. Remember that one time your voice wasn't like that?
Yeah, now I'm using it for work. So, yeah.
And it's amazing. You have a great voice in real life.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure everyone's going to, listen. Everyone's going to be different every time. But that's the beauty of it. You're able to transform. But it's been a pleasure. And before we go, is there anything that you would like to give people that are training for voiceover actors or actors in general, any one solid advice that you would say, if someone had told you it would have helped you, that you would like to give back and tell them?
I say this every time someone asks me that question. Make certain you understand that this arts and entertainment game is a crapshoot. Nothing is guaranteed. It's a walk of faith. And if you're going to walk it, you need to step out to find out. And while you're in the midst of stepping out to find out, you need to stand out.
Well said, well spoken, well versed. All things that are BZ in general, obviously. But it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm glad I can put a smile on your face after your long trip from Minnesota. Thank you so much for coming out here. BZ, everyone. Make sure to look up his movie on Hallmark, episode on CSI, General Hospital, and look up for what's happening with him. That's coming that he can't say yet, but it will be out there, and this is a true star, everyone. It's been an honor. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you so much.
See you guys after the break.
Have you been thinking about having your own TV show and how to publish it? Social media shows is what you're looking for. Start your show with our network, and your first month could be free. Inquire now. Email us at admin@socialmediashows.com. We accept applications from around the world.
Hi guys, welcome back. Wasn't that show exactly like I said? It was jam-packed, so many different industries all in one room today. Absolutely inspiring. There's so much to learn from each and every one of them, but they all have a common thing, which is basically taking your time, honing your craft, and giving back and inspiring others, which is something that I resonate with as well. So as always, I'm your host, Priscilla Moy. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, comment, all those things. Every little thing helps support not only social media shows, me, but also the artists that we have in our show every week. We also have so much coming in store as to where you can view our show, apart from where you can view it now, so make sure to stay tuned about that. And I love watching the show grow as each week goes on. So that's all thanks to you guys and your amazing comments and your support. I'm Priscilla Moy, and see you next week on Undiscovered.